Welcome once again to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. I am your host, Deanne McCletchy, and today it's part 2 with the interview with my guest, Mr. Andy Douglas. And of course, in part 1, we spoke in depth about his 35 years being imprisoned. And in this segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, and of course some of the things he was able to accomplish during his time of incarceration. Mr. Douglas, welcome once again. Happy to have you again.
It's a pleasure to be here again, to share. Thank you for having me.
Yes. On today's program, Mr. Douglas, we're going to talk about the significant turnaround you made in your life. And of course, you're now visiting schools and other organizations, sharing your testimony, sharing your life story as a deterrent and to encourage other young persons to not make the mistakes that you would have made, and of course, making better and wiser choices. Well, as we continue on this part 2 journey, I want you to talk a little bit about your 4.5 years on death row. What was that experience like for you emotionally?
Okay, my 4.5 years on death row was extremely emotional, knowing that, that they could come and hang me anytime. Because back then the crime was deplorable in the country, and they wanted to set an example, so to say.
Yes.
It was really scary, and scary in such a way that you never know when they could come to read you out.
Wow.
All right. They say that after a period of time they could not have read you out, but based on the Pratt and Morgan judgment.
Yes.
However, you always have that lurking feeling that something can happen and they could come and make a example of you. In respect to me, on that note, I had already made my peace with God.
Okay.
I prayed that you would have given me another opportunity, another chance to make better of myself and to even help others. And genuinely, sincerely, that was my prayer. So, excuse me. I prayed and I asked that God give me another chance. And when I prayed, I tell him, I say, I made a promise to him that I will, help bring sinners unto repentance. Of course, I will change my life and live for him. I made a promise to him. I'm doing that up to this day. Since I made that promise was I came up in MSP 89. That promise was I went up in the Conde in 2003. That promise was in 2003, 2004. Right?
Wow.
And, I kept reading my Bible and studying in my Bible and, working on myself, working on my thoughts.
Yes.
Working here and studying law. I started studying law when I was there. It was a bit too expensive, but there was a guy who had law books.
Okay.
So I used to borrow it from him, and I used to start to study it. But then the Archbold law books annually is £800 at the time. So I couldn't afford it.
Okay.
So I used to read, and when I wait for him to get his own annually, so he had people in England, and he used to send it for him, and then I would study. And then I started studying psychology. So while I was up there, I was doing research on spiritual, of course, biblical, which will lead to spiritual, and psychology and law. Because you're in condemn.
Yeah.
Right? And you have nothing to do but to pray, ask for forgiveness, of course, repent, ask for forgiveness, and read. And I used to exercise a lot.
Okay.
Because I used to do martial arts before, self-defense. So, do the exercise, not much the katas.
Yes.
So I was occupying myself there, and then, of course, I asked God to bring me down. And when I asked him to bring me down, he brought me down. I made a promise to him, and he brought me down. So now I had to live for him. I had to prove it. The challenge, it was a tough challenge. Because there was one point in time, the hope will come, how to put it, you will feel that all is lost.
Yeah.
it will look, because when you're seeing guys getting hung, I was there when a few guys got hung, eh?
Wow.
Yeah, I was there when a couple of guys got hung, the Glen Ashby, and and I spoke to Glen Ashby before, because he was obliquely opposite me at that point in time,
Right.
and up until they read him out and asked him what you like to eat and stuff like that. So it was very emotional,
Wow.
right?
Your
And
final meal.
yeah,
Hey.
and there was another guy, Briggs, I think, but I was there, and it was a bittersweet moment. Bittersweet in the sense that, hey, you're going to, you have hope. The sweetness is the hope that it won't happen to you.
Okay.
The bitterness is what could happen to you,
Yes.
based on what you saw happening, what I saw happening to the other guys who got hung.
The reality of it.
The reality of it. All right. So I prayed and I asked God, but somewhere in the back of my mind, the Spirit of the Lord just said, now come down.
Wow.
The way how everything happened, something in the back of my mind, because remember, my intention was not to, and God is a just God and a forgiving God.
Okay.
So if my intention was not, I was relying on Him to give me another chance.
Yeah.
I believe that He would have.
Okay.
But of course, they will have the look when you see the start hang people, and I was then there almost going on 5 years.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
4.5, right?
Yes.
And they done start hang people. So what? The bitterness is for you to lose focus.
Okay.
On the promise that God, because He say, ask and it shall be given, knock and the door shall be opened, seek and it shall find. All right? So I believe that. He said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You understand?
Yes.
And that is what I did.
Right.
So I know that He would have brought me down.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of time because of the faith I was having.
Okay.
And then I made a promise to Him.
Right. Got you.
So under that, yeah. So I came down, and when I came down, I said, Father, I need to get baptized. Because the word of God said, be transformed and by the renewing of mind. You will be transformed, be baptized. Right? So I needed to get baptized. At that time, much people wasn't being much religious. Religion wasn't baptized besides the Baptists at that point in time. So I just wanted to get baptized. It wasn't about religion,
Right.
because I have a relationship with God.
Okay.
I'm really not into the religion.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
My personal relationship is what matters to me, and I guess that's what matters to God, because He is the transformer here, right? So I got baptized. The Baptists were there, and I went and got baptized. Out of 22 guys, I was the first guy to go into the van. And now these are things I'm looking at. The first guy to go into the bus to go up to MSP. That time MSP wasn't fully open yet. The first guy to fast. I fasted for let's say 7 days without eating and drinking anything. And the other guys who baptized with me, they were in a mess, because and I keep encouraging them to fast and them, but sometimes they're cursing and you're hearing it, so it's something like distorted in my spirit.
Okay.
Right? Because remember, I serious about what I'm doing.
Yes.
I made a promise to God. So I guess those were tests for me too. Because I never come out. All the guys who were in my cell, I told them, I say, let's take it down a bit, I tried a fasting and I went.
Yes.
And they will take it down for a while and they will continue. And they were guys who baptizing too, right?
Right.
But you know who taking it serious or who taking it
Of course.
not so serious.
Of course.
But it was a test for me.
Yes.
Because I could have blew out or used some obscene by taking my thoughts off of God.
Of course.
Just because it was really distorting my spirit.
Yes.
But I had was to go through that.
Right.
To be strong up here.
Yes. So even as you talk about that, let's talk about that transition for you when you came off death row and you are now preparing for release. You are now getting back into the community.
Oh, you mean from death row or from...
Yeah, from death row, and then of course the lead up to your release from prison.
Okay. Well, from that, when I came down, of course, like I say, I needed to get baptized. And then when I got baptized, I was the first person again to come up. I was the first person to get a visit on a remand time. You don't get visit when they're doing... Convicted don't get visit when it have remand visit.
Okay.
They have 2 days for convicted, and they have 3 days for the remand. Back then, I got visit, and I mean, that is God, because that will happen unless it's a lawyer visit.
Right.
So a soldier brethren of mine came to look for me, because I prayed and asked God. I said, Lord, I get thin because I fast, dry fast, and I need something to nourish me. as I come down, my name called and I visit. That is one of the first,
Wow.
well, the third miracle, because the first going in,
Yes.
first coming out, the only person to take my fast serious, and now for the visit. So it's God showing me, hey, I got you.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
Right.
Right, so I got visit and I got a really nice visit, and the visit was long. It's just that the guy had was to go back in base.
Okay.
Yeah, and the visit was really long, and I am saying, Lord, you know, and then I get granola and stuff like that. I needed to renourish myself, and then so that is the third like miracle for me. Now we remember, seeing how I made the promise, I am of that transformation. Remember seeing everything from a spiritual perspective.
Okay. Right.
So every little thing that happened that don't normally happen to inmates.
It's like a blessing to you.
Yes. And that's how I was learning to count my blessing. So then I asked for a job. I started to work with the welfare officer. They don't put people who now come down from death row to work welfare, because with welfare, you're going all in front by the gate, you're going all over by sometimes.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Because you come like an orderly. But you move in, and that will happen. But because of how I used to care about myself, and because of what the promise God made for me, I went in front by the big gate. They do that because the gunmen there, they do have you close to them. And I go in by the canteen and stuff like that, because the welfare office is not far from there. So again, I'm watching how we function.
Yes.
And then I asked them for me to give back while I'm in prison, while I came down, for me to give back. And I started working with the welfare officers. So the new committers that come in, I started motivating them.
Okay.
Wasn't trained yet, but I started telling them what had happened to me and how I ended up on death row, and the sentence that I got, 75 years to life, because I got 75 years to life. So I was able to, with the welfare, say, you know, you had to live the life. If you had to motivate these guys, say, well, yeah. And so said, so done. So he had Mr. Husbands, Gordon Husbands, a real daddy.
Yeah.
So he allowed me, Mr. Porter, and they allowed me to motivate the new committers and encourage them. And then they segregate who have to go here and who have to go there. So that was that, and you know, that was a blessing, because they don't do that.
Right.
You know, come down from the road. They just put in the yard, and in the yard, you take a while before you get a job.
Right.
And yeah.
But how was the transition, even after death row, and then ultimately to your release?
Right. Well, after the programs started working welfare, and then MSP opened. When a little before MSP opened, Alta came in. So I started teaching with Alta. I didn't do the course, but because it was literacy. So I started teaching with Alta, and then MSP opened, and they called for me to come up MSP to start to teach. So I started teaching with Alta, and I also started teaching art.
Okay.
So I had about 23 guys teaching art. All right. And when I reached an MSP, there's Mr. and Mrs. Skinner. Well, they were in for Spain, and then they sent them up MSP2 to start to teach anger management, managing manhood, conflict resolution. So I started teaching literacy with them too. And then I did the course with them with the anger management and all these things.
So I
started to develop
you
myself.
in the transition.
Yes. And one day Mrs. Skinner she said, Douglas, you're teaching here. What do you have for yourself? You tell me to get through out of school and things. I say, yeah, well, I get my passes and I end up going Gustin. And although I get through out of Gustin and thing, you know, I went and tried to get back a chance to write my exam, and I failed the exam. She said, why don't go back and study? I said, well, I'm teaching here with you. She said, no, go back and get some subjects. I said, okay. And when I started doing subjects, I never looked back. Every year I used to try to get at least 2 subjects, do 2 courses. Right. So I come and I get distinction, credit, and passes. I have a number of life skill certificates. And of course, well, I mentioned broadcasting certificates. I have certificates is NADAP.
Okay.
Yeah, and from the Ministry of National Security going out and so the transition, because I used to go out and do mentoring in different schools, even Tobago, I came, while I was incarcerated, Hilton, to do speeches with heads of security throughout the region with Mr. Stewart. I have the video clip.
Yes, and of course we're gonna share that,
Yeah.
share some of those videos
Yeah.
on the program, and of course some of those pictures with
Yeah.
your certificates.
So, like God was preparing me for now.
Yeah.
All right. So I came out, and now and again, the certain churches, people who know me will call for me to speak to churches or
Okay.
speak to young children. I'm not employed at the
Right.
moment. So they will call and they will give me a little cash. I will save the cash because I'm paying rent now.
Okay.
And rent a little steep, but I'd rather not be on the streets
Of course.
than, yeah. So, and of course, like I mentioned, I support my family otherwise, not financially, because everybody going through a struggle
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah.
So they will give me hampers and stuff like that once they
Okay.
could. And so the transition wasn't hard for me
All right.
in respect to coming in, because I was already going out. I used to
Yes.
hardly be in the prison
Yes.
when I started going all Marabella.
Right. So you you had already started doing your impact
Yes. Yeah.
ministries
Yeah.
on the outside.
Mhm.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow.
So, and I look at it as God preparing me
Yes.
for when I come out.
Of course.
So even though when I come out, things were strange, they changed up the streets, people really, and I mean no disrespect, I don't want nobody to feel offended by it, but the love not.
A lot of persons
Yeah.
just busy about
Yeah,
their own
the
duties
care
and their,
yeah. But not only that, the stigma.
yeah. And of course we're gonna talk about the stigma, but we're gonna take a short break. We have to talk about that stigma. All right, viewers, we're gonna take our first short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor, or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center, Storbay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Are you having issues with your vehicle overheating? No worries. Check out Graham's Radiator Service for sales and servicing of radiators, installation and flushing, pressure testing, gas tank recoating, and all your radiator needs. Check them out at Philadelphia Trace off the Plymouth Main Road in Marys Hill, Tobago, seconds from the Wim Anglican School. Call 639-1094 or 299-3097. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m.
NSL School and Office Supplies for all your school uniforms, textbooks, stationery, and craft supplies. Located obliquely opposite Stompy's Bypass, Canaan. Also offering printing, photocopying, and much more. Give them a call today, 615-6595, 477-5905, or email them at nslbookstore@gmail.com.
So, Mr. Douglas, tell us about what were the biggest challenges and fears for you in now coming back into your community, into society after 35 years?
Okay, there were a couple of fears. One is stigmatization.
Right.
All right. There were times that I got a job in a place, and I only worked one day. I don't know if the person got to find out where I was, but when I came out the next, well, it was like a Friday,
Right.
and then the weekend I got the weekend off, and like when I came back the Monday, no longer.
Need your services.
And that was, now had I not been prepared for that,
Okay.
that could have sent me. So I understand why guys go and come, some guys go and come, because it was really hard, because I wanted to make money. My fear was to get my own place. I needed to get my own place, I get a job to support myself.
Right.
All right, and days here it is, I got a job, and
One day.
and I laugh, Some guys would have get better.
Yeah.
But I laughed because I was prepared for it. And then when I had a support from friends, and so I could have, So that was my biggest fear, and still, because I mean, who wouldn't want to get their own place and start to work and stuff like that to support themselves,
Yeah.
and then start to work on a family,
Of course.
Because I mean, I'm not getting younger, I mean, I'm
Yes.
getting older, and I would like to be stable now,
Of course,
right?
understood.
So those were my biggest fears.
Yeah, but let's talk a little bit about the discrimination. Somebody just returning from prison, there's a kind of fear, there's a kind of stigma attached to
Yeah.
it. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that stigma. Again, I was prepared for it. So, not to say that it affected me, but it did, and it's real.
Yeah.
There was another place where I wasn't working there, but my cousin used to tell me I could come and stay with him. See, now I working, and sometimes he'll provide lunch,
Right.
he'll provide breakfast. And there was this young lady working there, and I don't know who told her or where she got the information from, but she heard that I was inside, and then she started going around and telling people, hey, well, you have a dangerous man working here. I didn't know you have a dangerous, but one of the persons she told was a good friend of mine and was an officer. So the officer knew how I used to function in the system.
Right.
So apparently, like the officer, well, he told me, he said, I told her, I said, well, you don't know that guy. That guy changed. You always said, glad to have him around. You understand? Because he will more protect you guys than anything else.
Right.
He also told her that that guy life changed. So why you coming to me with that?
Yes.
And that's what he told me, right? And the person started moving different with me, the girl. Yeah, she started moving different all the time. Hey, look, my brother, and big hug and thing when I come in and thing, big hug and thing and like I said, I can be extroverted.
Yeah.
And then when she found out, she started, and then she still told other people.
Right.
It was in a gym.
Person started
Yeah, it
to
was in
look
a
at
gym.
you.
Yeah, differently. They're talking to me, but
Yes.
I'm picking them up in
There
the
is a
spirit.
hold
I'm
back,
picking up,
of
picking them up. But
course.
I used to laugh in my mind because, like I say, people just live your past.
Correct.
They don't know who you are now.
Yeah.
So tell me who I am now. Don't tell me who I was.
Right.
Tell me who I am now. I'm no longer that person who I used to be.
Yes.
And each and every day I get up and I pray and I give God praise and thanks to allow me to be focused as to be the person who I am now.
Yeah.
And not to let anything distract me to be the person who I was. As far as I'm concerned, that person is dead.
Of course.
So I'm a new creature in Christ.
Right.
All things are passed away, and behold, all things have become new.
Yes.
And that's what makes the scripture real.
For you.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to tell us about, we spoke a bit about your academic achievements. What were probably two highlights in your time there? I know you spoke about different places that you would be invited to come, even while incarcerated.
Yeah.
Just give us two short highlights.
Okay. Well, the conference in Hilton Hotel against crime and drugs. I spoke at that conference. People didn't know I was an inmate until I say it, unless I say it. Yeah, because
And I can
suit up
imagine
and
just
thing,
like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Actually people mouth
Yes.
drop.
Yes.
Yeah, the jaw drop. Because they thought I was the commissioner bodyguard. You were a suit up and
Right.
stuff. Yeah. And then that was when Mr. Commissioner Stewart, who had been like a daddy to me, and Mr. Ramuta, where I went to Hyatt
Okay.
on a panel discussion too.
Right.
And it was astonishing.
Yeah.
Because you're in prison and then you're coming out and you're doing, but the thing with me, that before I go anywhere to speak or to share, I fast
Okay.
for the half day self, at least,
Right.
because I want my spirit to be light.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want my spirit to be light to say what I have to say. I just want this Holy Spirit to flow in me. I don't want to be heavy now.
Of course.
Right? So that's what I do. Because remember, I'm looking to encourage people.
Yes.
And people see right through you,
That's
because
right.
I just see right through people.
That's right. That's
So
right.
you had to be real.
Yes. Well, tell us about some of the persons who would have made. I know your list is long, but
Yeah.
but you spoke of some earlier. But I really want to give you the opportunity. There are some persons who would have impacted your life significantly, who have brought you to the place that you are today. Thank some
Yeah.
of those persons.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank my mom. Right? I want to thank my mom because in spite of situations that I put her into,
Yes.
not being there, as a son. So I thank my mom. I thank Pastor Wilma, well, all thanks to Pastor, because Pastor was like mom and sister to me.
Yes.
Right? I thank the Skinners. There's Pastor Parks. Oh gosh, I list Mr. Ramuta, Mr. Stewart, Mr. Angataya, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Charles. There's so many officers and gentlemen.
Yes.
That you know, I don't want to. I mean, if I leave out anybody, it's not because I choose to. It's because it's just so much, overwhelmingly so much.
Got you.
Right? Yeah, and of course my cousin Joan and many others.
And it's always so good to say thanks, because they didn't have to be there for you.
Yeah.
Which means that they would have seen something in you, and they saw beyond and see the person that you can become. So it's very, very important.
There's two more people I want to add. Mr. Matthew Samuel.
Yes.
That's the person who brought me here. And of course yourself, thank you for having me here.
Yes.
So, all these little, everybody that comes into my life, or I go into their life, I just believe that there's a purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, because Samuel, when he joined the service, I was there. He saw me doing the mentoring. We did programs together, stuff like that. He escorted and stuff like that. Right? So those are two, you and Mr. Samuel.
Yes, certainly.
And well, of course, I have a poem I would like to share with you guys.
Well, we'll share that a little later, just before we wrap up. But now you are a motivational speaker. You're a mentor, especially to the young men. Tell us about your mission and some of the work that you have been doing, and what else you intend to do to take it up a notch.
Okay. First, I would like to get involved in prison ministry. Not just prison ministry, but I believe I could have an impact on some of the guys in the system, because when I was released, again, there's something that don't happen. I was released like a Thursday. The Friday, I came to Tobago. This Saturday, I went to a gospel concert. The Sunday, I was baptized in Tobago. And the Monday, I was back in prison with Pastor Kelly. When I walked in the prison, that don't happen. You had to take some months before you could,
because I'm just thinking
6
about
months, I think, and that's because of God again, and because of how I conducted myself, my character and attitude. Otherwise, they would have never let me inside.
Correct.
Right? And when I was walking in, it was so remarkable. I wish I had we could have carried phones back then. I got a standing ovation.
Wow.
The officers, and they were glad for me. The guys by the window coming, hey, look, Mr. Douglas pointing. And you seen everybody by different windows rushing up by the windows, because we had to walk up to go to the gym in MSP, to go to the gym to go and preach on Sherrywood, right? While we walking, everybody stopped and people started to clap. When I reached in the gym, the guys stood and gave me they were glad. Even the officers who they find too much up to the commissioners and them, they and all,
Yes.
Yeah. And even some of the guys who didn't like what I stood for, because as I always say, darkness are no place of light.
Correct.
Right?
But one thing was clear, is that you were a changed man.
Yeah.
And persons could have seen
Yes.
the change in you.
Yeah. And then a lot of the guys too, I used to help them out. If they don't have no toiletries and thing, I was a red band, orderly. Orderlies are honored inmate. I used to move anywhere in the prison without being escorted.
Okay.
Right? That's a red band.
Right.
It's an honor and a privilege to be a red band. All right. So I used to serve. I was a servant.
Okay.
So even though it have those, once I have toiletries, I will share newspapers. They like to read it, because in a cell lockup.
Yes.
Once I will share. If I get clothes and it's too tight for me, I will share.
Right.
People who need. At have times I'll throw in for my birthday. I'll throw a little Thanksgiving. I'll get some coconut, ask officers buy some coconuts.
Okay.
Or if they come from the garden, they bring coconuts and make sweet bread and slice it up and give, make juice and, excuse me. And yeah, so, it had the good and the bad. I used to deal with anybody and everybody.
Okay. So you're a people person.
Yes, I am now.
people, person, definitely. Well, I brought it up on the part one of the program, something that the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe said. He said, if you don't know the purpose of a thing, then abuse is inevitable. And I firmly believe that many of our young people, they have literally lost their way because they don't know what is their purpose. They have been told that they are just here to merely exist, but they don't recognize that they have been born with a purpose, and they are here in the land of the living to contribute meaningfully to our society, to contribute to our fellow men, not just to exist, but to thrive and contribute. I want you to take the opportunity today to speak to someone who probably is just scrolling through and decided to stop. In spite of where you have been, here you are now. Because you could have chosen to just come out and just keep a low profile. But here you are now, contributing meaningfully to the development of our society, something that you were unable to do previously. But as it were, you are now buying back time. Speak to our young persons today.
Okay. Change
Good
is,
speaking to the camera.
yeah, change is constant. Change is you could change if you want. You can make that turn around if you want. It have no, don't let nobody tell you can't do this or you can't do that or you can't change or you'll never change or you'll never amount to anything good. You know, I didn't thought that I could have made changes, but the only my change came through Christ Jesus. I don't want to preach push no kind of religion or anything, because anybody could change. It had nothing to do with religion. It have everything to do with your personal character and your personal attitude, right? And if you really want to make that turnaround in life as a young man, and you want to make you're fed up of living a defeated life or a deceitful life, you could. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but if you're sincere and you're genuine and you really want to make that change, you talk to God and He will help you. Again, this has nothing to do with religion. It's your personal relationship with God. He could help and He would help. You know, so, and if anytime, I am willing to, if you want to get in contact with me at any time, I am willing to help you go through that transition. For this is how I give back to society. You know, and understand this. When you make that, Christ told, He told Peter, He said, when thou art transformed, feed my sheep. You understand? When thou art transformed, feed my sheep. So when we make that transformation in our personal self, through the grace of God, we had a help other. We don't just sit down and keep it. You know? We had to let our light shine. And our light is to help other people make that changes. And that's my mission. And it could be yours too. Come on board. You know, let's work out something. Okay? Yeah, let's work
Definitely.
something.
Well, we're going to take another short break in a short. But I want you to talk about some of the work that you have started doing within the schools and even within the communities. And of course, some of the other areas that you would like to delve into. I know you spoke about the prison ministry, but I'm thinking in terms of on the streets. Right, so let's just talk about that. We're gonna start, and then after the break, we're gonna continue. So let's start about that.
Okay. Well, I mentioned prison because it's there I came from.
Yes.
And because of coming from there, I believe that is because that is a revolving door, right? And people go in there innocent and come out really guilty. And I want to say innocent in the sense that they might come in for not paying their tax, as they say, supporting the kids.
Right.
And they may put them in cell, because I know one guy, they put a guy, he was a mechanic, and they put him in a cell with other guys because he just come for 30 days back then. And it was a bullpen, because back in the day, they used to call it the bullpen. They put everybody there and then they filter them out in different places overnight. And he was there, but he didn't have much space. And he next thing you know, he got his 30 days. He went out, and next thing he come back as a robber.
Wow.
You know, and I saw him. I was a big guy, and I saw him. You can't miss him. You robbing? You so big, they must make you out. you know. So when I was told too. So when I
Yes.
saw him, I said, "Oh, you doing? Yeah, and oh, you're paying your child support and thing." He said, "No, boy, I come in for a robbery." I said, "A robbery?" So I said, "Well, how that happened?" He said, "Boy, well, you know, I meet some friends inside, and they said me to do this, and they tell me to do that, and then before you know it, you know, well, I had to pay the money, and I lose my work when he went. He lost his mechanic work. So the friends he met, but this thing's so deep, eh? The friends that he met inside sent him someplace. Because he know he would not get back the work because he didn't now get the work.
Yes.
And his mechanics, as you miss out, other people there to fill that spot. So he started robbing, and he became a habitual robber. And I was so sad. I met him and I prayed with him. After a period of time when he come in and he started coming service and thing. And well, after a while, I didn't see him.
Yeah.
I didn't see him in the system for a while. I don't know if he went to other prisons, small crime, because he came in a number of time after that.
Really?
Yeah, so you just had to be careful. You had to be careful. And then he was an innocent guy. When I say innocent, he was not a bandit or anything like that.
Got you.
So that's what takes place.
Wow.
In the
Well,
system.
that is definitely sad. And then of course you have the repeat offenders.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about that just after the break. Viewers, we're on Transforming Lives One at a Time. My guest today, Mr. Andy Douglas, and this is part 2 of his life story. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor, or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Are you having issues with your vehicle overheating? No worries. Check out Graham's Radiator Service for sales and servicing of radiators, installation and flushing, pressure testing, gas tank recoating, and all your radiator needs. Check them out at Philadelphia Trace off the Plymouth Main Road in Marys Hill, Tobago, seconds from the Wim Anglican School. Call 639-1094 or 299-3097. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m.
NSL School and Office Supplies for all your school uniforms, textbooks, stationery, and craft supplies. Located obliquely opposite Stompy's Bypass, Canaan. Also offering printing, photocopying, and much more. Give them a call today, 615-6595, 477-5905, or email them at nslbookstore@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time with my guest, Mr. Andy Douglas. Well, just before the break, we started talking about repeat offenders because you were talking about this gentleman and he came in for not paying child maintenance, and then after that, he just spiraled out of control. What kind of rehabilitation strategies do you think can be implemented to really take those figures down? Because as you said, he came in for something like this, which we will say minor, although we know taking care of your child is critical, but in terms of it's not like a criminal offense. And now coming back repeatedly after that for robbery, possibly robbery with aggravation, that kind of thing. Let's talk about that.
Okay, one of the things I believe that should be set in place for when a guy, for example, him, when he went back out, he couldn't get a job.
Okay.
If he had gone back out and gotten his job, I believe he may have, because he likes mechanic. We spoke about mechanic while we were there, right? And the man building engine and all kind of thing. And when he went back out, he didn't get his job. It goes back to stigmatization. You know, and it happens to a lot of us because look me, I am not working and I am qualified to do different things, especially in media. All right. So they need to put things in place for when guys, even when guys release from prison. Because I mean, yeah, Pastor Kelly may assist some, but she don't have the finance to really.
Right.
Although she's building a halfway house, if you see the size of that.
Yes, she did send me a video.
So that is still being worked on to help inmates when they like women who don't have no place to go, have children, guys who comes out of prison, because she do have a few guys down by her by the church side. I was there for 2.5 months.
Okay.
All right. So they need to put mechanism in place so when guys come, and I mean, I know the prison was trying to avoid the stigmatization by carrying us out there to showcasing us on certain programs that they have, showcasing the work that inmates do when they have little little prison festivals and stuff like that. I've been part of some of them, art exhibition, for example.
Yes, and concerts.
Yeah, and concerts, right? So they try to expose the good.
Right.
In prison, because a lot of good is taking place in prison, just they don't showcase it.
Okay.
Of course, I mean, no disrespect to media, but sensationalizes them is an important thing. So more the negative things you will get, because just as I would have positive, would have negative in the system.
Of course.
Of course, as we know from reading.
And bad news always sells.
Always sells, sensationalizes them. So we need to put things in place. For example, I mean, I am out. I want to still give back to schools. You know, right now that's slowed down, and I don't know why it's slowed down in respect, because I went since I came out, I attended Penal, two different schools in Penal. Okay. To share with the prisons. And I mean, school closed, so probably that is one of the reasons why.
Possibly, yes. Holiday.
But I mean, when I went, it was early on in the year, and I was saying, but how come they slowed down? That before this school closed. Okay. You see, the youths need to hear it. Yeah. When I go to the schools, right, and share, when I'm finished sharing, these kids circle me. Yeah. They want to know more. And the kind of things I hear from these kids about this parents, and I mean, it is sad. Yeah. You know, because I'm just saying, one student told me that his father does allow him to sell drugs in school. Wow. And he confided that with me. Yeah. And there was a school I went where a child, and I say a child, they vaping. They took their sister vape and brought it to school and shared it with other people. Right. Now, if that sister was sick with tuberculosis or something, that could have spread. Of course. So there are a lot of mechanisms that need to be put in place, not just in the prisons and in the schools or for people going and coming. And then when you come out after doing a lengthy sentence, you can't get jobs. Apart from the stigmatization, because jobs kind of hard to get out there now. And the kind of job that you're qualified for.
Of course. And then you have the reality, because a lot people don't forgive, eh?
Well, of course, it have the unforgiven.
We have a major problem with forgiveness, huh?
And there's a crucial thing in it, because and then you can't blame. You see, with me, I wouldn't blame a person for not forgiving, right? Because when you hurt people, when you get hurt, that is a scar. Yeah. You have to have God in you to forgive.
But at the same time, you have to give
people
second chances. You know why? Because I always think that if you put yourself in the other person's position, how would you have wanted? How would you like to be treated or want to be treated? You know, and so you can't just put out a blanket and say, okay, he did this 35 years ago. He's now out. You can see the change. You can feel the change. Persons around him would have test, but yet you would still hold on to this.
And that's the reality of it.
That's the reality. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, because Piana, I telling you, I give him a chance. I tell you, I believe I will be blessed. You know, and I could be able to bless others. Yeah. What I'm saying is that from when people comes out of prison, they should have things prepared for them. Yeah. I had brought up once and that, you allow us to work. Well, I say us, well, when I was there, allow us to work, or whoever doing work, you get them a stipend. Because we are trying to get a new radio station there.
Right.
So we could put it in our account. So when we come out, at least we have a little something to carry us through until we get a, Because if we're there for a long period of time and we're working, they say you get 5 cents and 10 cents or whatever. But but you have to be real because people working hard. They're going out early in the morning and doing work. Yes, they charge for a crime. Yes, they lock up because they did something wrong. But remember, they will be back out in society.
Of course.
And then if you don't want to support them, well, then let's create a support system in the system so that when they work or do any kind, it could be gardening, it could be anything. Once you're employed in this system as a convict, I believe that there's only fair that you start paying something. So when they come out, they'll have something to go on.
Right.
When I came out, it took me some months just to get a little, I think I got 1,008 or something like that.
Wow.
And that because they didn't have no money in the system.
Okay. And then you have the family aspect of it, huh?
And then
because when you come out, a lot of family members, they shy away. They like, okay.
And I experienced that. They will come and visit you and buy things for you.
Yes, but when you come
you
out,
become a burden because remember they have to support you now.
Correct.
And that's why that's the reason why I'm not saying that all my family is like that or anything like that. I wouldn't call names neither.
Right, obviously.
But I have been through that.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, I was prepared for it.
All right.
And the only reason I was prepared, I'm an individual.
Yeah.
So the only reason I was prepared for it is because I'm in a relationship with God. Okay. I really wanted to change. I really wanted to make a difference. Right. Not everybody like that.
Yeah.
Once or maybe twice in a decade, God will raise up a standard of certain people. You see it in the Bible. David, Joseph, Peter, Saul, to do what God wanted to do. And I don't know, I just see myself like one of them person. Wow. I'm telling you, it's just
power to you then.
He actually shaped me. I could have come out better.
Of course.
But here I am sharing my story.
Because you want to see others impacted. You want to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to talk to, I know we touched on it just a bit, but a parent that is viewing, because this program is about being real. There's a parent viewing or family member viewing this program today and their child or their loved one is just spiraling out of control. They are at their wits' end. They don't know what to do because they know that the road that son or that daughter is going down, they will either end up in prison or 6 feet under.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to talk to that parent today. Give them some level of hope.
The level of hope that I could give to our parents is that to spend more quality time with their child. I know you got to work, I know you got to pay the bills, and probably maybe a single parent, and it's really tough and hard, but you need to spend time with your kids more. I'm not saying that you're not doing it, don't get me wrong, but there are people not doing it because sometimes they don't even know what the child going through. Sometimes your child's suffering, sometimes your child getting bullied in school, and you don't know that they're getting bullied in school because they may be afraid to tell you because they may hardly have time or because you're over strict. And I'm not bashing anybody for being strict because you need to be strict at times. But you don't know when to be strict because you can't be over strict to a child where you're stifling his growth, where you're stifling him from becoming who he wants to be. Like, okay, he wants to be a footballer. Okay, but you don't have the finance to support him to be a footballer. So what, should you stop him from being a footballer? I mean, yeah, it's hard. You can't get the finance to buy a thugs for him or to get the clothes registers as, but should that deter him from being who he wants to be? Next thing he could represent the country. So I'm saying spend time. I don't know how the finance are coming, but I think things can be put in place, and with God all things are possible. And I could testify to that. So spend more quality time with your children because when you go out to work and you come back, you don't know where the children have been through. Some parents will take the children book and go through the book and see what they learn or what have you. So I was saying spend quality time. Get to know your children better because sometimes you have a total stranger living in your house and you don't know. Your children running out and doing all kind of things and you don't know. And for those of you who know, I mean, it's your kid. It's your kid. You know, you had to talk to them. And you see, again, you can't be too rough with them in the sense because you want them to open up to you. You want to get to know them because remember, you're not there. So that's why I say one of the most important things is to spend time getting to know your children. Carry them out. Things different now, yes? So carry them out. Carry them outing. Carry them a sport. Carry them somewhere. Don't just, go to work, come back, you pick up a book thing and they go out and play and that is it. And one of the most crucial things that you need to do, and I know a lot of the students will get, children will get vexed at that, phone time. You had to get them phone time in the sense that not every day or every moment, get them time to study their work. So they had, once they're home, get them phone time. And in other words, hey, you're going, no, you're not going on that phone now until you've done your homework. And I had to see your homework finish. And I mean, some of the kids will disagree with that, but you need that because I am on the streets, going on back and forth in taxi, traveling to go here, looking for the job and things. And every time I look, I see children on their phone. Yeah. People could snatch them and they know. A car could run into them and they know. Yes. They're on their phone. And it's the same thing they're doing on the streets, the same thing they'll do home. Because, and that, spend time with your kids. And God is in control.
Yes, definitely. Well, I know you have a poem that you want to share with us even as we begin to bring the curtains down on part 2.
Yes, so this poem is called Transformation. I came first in MSP with this poem and second in all the prisons. It's called Transformation. It's about my life in a nutshell. So it goes like this. Once living a life of crime and fame, living a life of sorrow and pain, not knowing who I really was, I hungered and thirsted for what he caused. So I took to the streets to find the answer, only to end up being a gangster. Having the influence of many, they'll do anything for money. Crime, drugs, and all its ills. I said to myself, this can't be God's will. For friends I thought to me were there. Little did I know. You didn't care. Betrayal, envy, disrespect, and deceit. These are the characters out on the street. It wasn't long before I'd known my fate. I allowed the enemy to use me as bait. Now charged with a crime I did commit, I'm not angry that society calls me a misfit, but realizing the harm and hurt that I've done, I'm seeking to right all that I did wrong. Finding my identity, that's what I did. Understanding God's purpose and His goodwill. Growing stronger and wiser each and every day. Making use of every program that comes my way. To rebuild and reshape my life, I must. In order to fulfill my life's purpose, I must rebuild what I have broken down. I must restore through restitution. Responsibility, accountability, given the opportunities, what my heart desire to give back to my community. But before I do this, I must say sorry for my irresponsibility. Now, given the opportunity, I've started giving back to society. To restore is to give back, replace, and reconstruct. This is what I have vowed to develop. Seeking ways and means to build positively, mentally, educationally, and most of all, spiritually. Now that I'm going through my transformation, preparing the harm that is my sole solution. Repaying the harm is my sole solution. I must take responsibility for my action and balance the scale of justice through restoration.
Wow. And that is a perfect note to end part 2 of Transforming Lives One at a Time. Mr. Douglas, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming from Trinidad, all the way from Trinidad to Tobago, just to be here on this program. And I want to wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I salute you. You are making impact. You are transforming lives. And forget the past. The past is the past. May you continue to walk in your present and in your future. So all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And thanks again for joining us.
Me.
Well, viewers, you've heard it firsthand from a voice of transformation and a vessel of grace. Andy Paul Douglas continues to impact lives. One message, one testimony, and one heart at a time. Thank you again, Mr. Douglas, for sharing your personal experiences, your life story, and it is our hope that lives will be impacted. So please share this program. Share it far and share it wide so that others can hear of the transformation done in this gentleman's life. Well, viewers, I'm your host, Deanne McClutchy. We bring the curtains down on part 2 of this segment with Mr. Andy Douglas. Of course, you can link with us on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, YouTube. As usual, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time. I leave you again with beautiful sceneries from Trinidad.